We have a question from a spiritual seeker, and I will read out the question. It says, I'm going through life just suffering constantly, and I have experienced complete dissolution at times when touched by grace of my Guru. But this ego is constantly keeping me blinded, and it just hurts me so much, like there's aching and a lot of crying. I don't know if there is an end to this. Like I'm not able to come to acceptance. My ego doesn't want to, but being in the samsara or the world, I am not able to help myself from not wanting and having spiritual desires. But I feel the whole universe wants me to wake up, but I am not seeing the truth. How long will it take? Is it even there? So, if I answer this question and I tell you that it is there and it's not going to take very long, let's say hypothetically, will that bring you any relief right now? Maybe temporarily your mind will be quietened. But again, all of these pains and ache and crying will again come up. You see, we have this idea. The seeker has this idea that universe works for them. But it's actually the other way around. Seeker is an identification. Seeker is an instrument of the universe working for the universe and through the universe only. It has no separate concrete existence of its own. Therefore, universe, as I speak, is consciousness. And there is no instrument, there is no identification apart from consciousness. Everything is illuminated by consciousness, in consciousness, and it is consciousness. Once this becomes a living truth of the being, it does not make any difference what spiritual desires arise, because there is no identification with any desire. Now, it does not mean that after having this knowledge, there won't be any desire in you. The organism is built in that way, and the desires arise, and it gets identified with the desires. But the difference between quote unquote a sage and quote unquote an ordinary man, both of these being just a concept, is that a sage can see the desire for what it is, whereas an ordinary man or a woman cannot see the desire for what it is, and they see the desire for what it should be or should not be. So, we generally have this idea that spiritual desires are going to bring me wholeness, completeness. They are going to make my mind peaceful. They are going to eliminate suffering. Universe is working for my well-being. You see, it is all bringing attention to me in an ordinary man. While in the sage, the same desires arise. The sage also, feels the intensity of emotions. And sage can cry out that I want this or I want that. But sage realizes the futility of wanting. So, the sage sees that the desire, whatever desire is there in the sage, let's say a sage wants a romantic partner, the sage will know that the partner will come with their challenges. The relationship will be full of challenges. And the sage accepts that dynamic totally before forming that relationship. But if the relationship is to be formed, the sage is not even going to deny that and will continue with whatever needs to be done. Whatever the universe is bringing, sage accepts that with total acceptance. Whereas the seeker, which is an identification, has an idea of what spirituality will do for them. So they try to mold things, they try to shape their mind in a certain way. And most of it is usually formed because of accumulated knowledge, because we have been promised that we will attain liberation, moksha, by going deep into the scriptures, by practicing yoga and following different modalities, spiritual practices. And yes, they are amazing. They have beautiful, they have benefits. They have they bring lots of peace and lots of benefits to the mind-body organism. But at the same time, if one is identified, strongly attached to the idea that I will not be happy or peaceful until I attain liberation, then that can become the roadblock. So, what stands between you and the wholeness is just you. There is nothing else. And yes, at times we all feel dissolutions, especially those who have had the glimpse of wholeness. We do feel dissolution at times, but again, things come back because that's how the samsara, the world, is designed, And it is important for interhuman interaction for it to be like this. There is no knowing of pleasure, the worldly pleasure, without knowing pain. And that is why life is a cycle of alternating pain and pleasure. So you see, it is two sides of the same coin, just like attraction and aversion. So if we are attentive enough and we see this total movement, we will understand the nature of spiritual desires, which we will see is actually not much different from the material desires. The only thing is that is keeping us from attaining those desires is that we are seeing them not for what they are, but for what they should be. Once we accept totally that these desires are from the wholeness and not from the individual, we know that the desire that promises something will bring the opposite as well. It will bring the challenges as well. And with that total understanding, no desire will ever be a problem. I don't know if this makes sense to you. The ego is always living in assumptions. It wants something that it has never known. And it just lives in this idea that things should be a certain way. As a result, what this ego is denying is the reality of now, things as they are happening. And it constantly lives in how things should or should not be. So, what I feel is the true grace of the Guru is that is this understanding, is this deepest understanding that everything comes with the opposite. Every desire that promises something comes with the opposite of it. Knowing that, go for the desires. Let them exhaust, let them fulfill. Because even fighting the desire is a form of attachment. Aversion and attachment, as I said, are two sides of the same coin. They are the same movement. So it is futile to say that I should not feel desires, that desires are my enemy, they are causing me pain. Even that thought is going to keep you trapped in the cycle of samsara. So, to get out of the samsara, or if you want to call it the matrix, you don't have to solve the matrix. You don't have to understand how the matrix works. You just have to accept that it is this way and it is dualistic, which means it comes with the opposite. And the acceptance of duality is the understanding, true understanding of non-duality. There is no separate non-dual truth apart from duality. It is one and the same movement. The two shine in the one. The two are the one. So, all I can say is, watch the ego, watch the I that thinks that universe is giving this I inputs, but this I is not able to see the truth. This is the only pointer that masters gave us. Look at this I. What is it? And trace its source. That's all. Nothing else needs to be done. Eventually, you come to this realization that I and its source are also one. And it is the assumption that I am separate that is keeping us trapped in this cycle of alternating pain and pleasure. So the understanding is that one can get out of it only through acceptance, not by fighting or resisting it. I hope this helps.